it's a hard thing.
Paul Schachter has long worried about the ethics of the Victoria Police Department.
And a VicPD officer shot the man in crisis. However, the man died of his injuries on scene.
I wanted to be an advocate for building trust between the community and the Vic Police Department.
He wanted to do that as a member of the Victoria and Esquimalt Police Board, but he resigned frustrated in 2022. He says one point of contention was perceived secrecy around officer misconduct.
With complaints against police, and there is no shortage of them.
Yesterday afternoon, Schachter filed a Police Act complaint against the department.
Victoria Police Department says investigating complaints about its members is putting a heavy burden on the department. VicPD says, in fact, it has more officers investigating police complaints than it does looking into child pornography, child abuse, or financial crime.
What I'm here for is trying to get management changes, policy changes that are going to really increase the trust between the community and the police department, because we can't trust a department that turns its back on corruption.
Bruce Dean is a street photographer who says he's often harassed by police. He filed the first complaint against the chief. The BC Civil Liberties Association also took umbrage with the comments and filed a complaint alleging discreditable conduct. An RCMP chief superintendent agreed.
Chief Jamie Graham committed discreditable conduct.
We can't trust a department that, in fact, files deceptive and false reports to the Crown and to the judiciary.
When it all go down, who's gonna ride with me? When it all go down, who's gonna ride with me?
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! You think that's what's gonna happen, dude? You think that's what's gonna happen? That's what's gonna happen. Hit and run, asshole!
Because we can't trust a department that turns its back on corruption.
Hey, don't put your hands on me.
Is it running?
Don't, you get it.
Ever. But then what happened too was, it may not be in my notes there, is about a year and a half ago maybe a bit more than that, I got assaulted by two people. I do activism, and I had a camera on my helmet. And one of the people, two of them came at me from front and back, and the one from back grabbed my helmet in my head trying to stop me from filming. And it basically like face masking, except it was on top of my head, so they had even better leverage, and they just wrenched my head down forward and to the left. And I was standing above my mobility aids, and I think that's been why this is.
There's nerve root compression. There's significant nerve root compression. So where the spinal canal is compressed. So you've got spinal stenosis. You've got what we call pyramidal encroachment, which means where the windows or the nerve roots come out and go to the shoulders and the arms, etc., are tightly compressed.
Is it running?
Don't, you get it.
We can't trust a department that, in fact, files deceptive and false reports to the Crown and to the judiciary.
Yeah, it's not Starbucks, man. Those are not motorcycles, okay? How can you guys see the fucking human rights tribunal? So leave me the fuck alone! Get your boy to leave me alone!
As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget to feed the pigeons. As you wage your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who fight for peace. As you pay your water bill. As you pay your water bill, think of others. Those who are lost by cloud. As you return home to your home. As you return home to your home.
I'm not blocking you, I'm filming. You could have gone around me. What's your problem? You're crazy. You're fucking insane, buddy. Leave me alone. I'm not doing nothing. Leave me alone. I'm just filming you, asshole. You guys saw that, right? Just come with me. The other guy just rammed me. With his motorbike, rammed me. He rammed me. I was sitting there, he was sitting there, and he just started and rammed me. Like, what the hell? That's an assault. And all the officers said I did nothing. I told them, I said, dudes, you know the video you just gave me? Like, rammed me from there.
We can't trust a department that, in fact, files deceptive and false reports to the Crown and to the judiciary.
A court record claims Rob Ferris, an officer who was under criminal investigation, was allowed to work on a major drug case, and other officers tried to hide his involvement from Crown prosecutors. Ferris was never charged, and all charges in the drug case have been stayed.
We can't trust a department that turns its back on corruption.
PD's dirty laundry was aired out earlier this week.
The police board should take the responsibility and ask management why all of this happened.
The board did not respond to a request for comment on this story. A former member of VicPD says the policing community is feeling dejected as their public image falls to pieces. It's just a sense of despair, says the former officer, who spoke on the condition of anonymity due to fear of future reprisal.
It's a really difficult time for a lot of police officers because they end up carrying this burden.
Criminal justice instructor Eva Sylvan says the department should strengthen background checks and behavioral tests when hiring.
How do we manage to identify these folks and be able to get rid of them?
But I want to just let you know, as a police chief of color, the first police chief of color within our 163-year history of the Victoria Police Department, as a police chief and a person of color, the other thing I want to share with you is that we have a number of Indigenous officers within the Victoria Police Department.
There's mistakes that were made in the number of the processes that we had. We're learning from those mistakes.
Sylvan says the public won't soon forget. They are left to clean up a big mess.
Says an independent investigation could help restore that trust.
That a VicPD officer shot the man in crisis.
VicPD officer shot the man in crisis.
And a VicPD officer shot the individual.
So if you don't leave now, I'm going to place you under arrest. Oh, thanks. Yeah, so I will arrest you.
Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
We can't trust a department that turns its back on corruption.
The OPCC calls themselves a, quote, impartial, transparent civilian oversight, unquote. And the OPCC is responsible for the administration of discipline and proceedings under the Police Act. And when one Victoria Police Department officer caught up to the chase, he blocked and obstructed my legal duty to serve Greg with a summons. Once Greg finally felt safe enough with a wall of 2 armed officers, he took the summons. He then changed direction and was now walking towards me. So I asked Greg, the criminal, if he had committed any more indictable offenses lately.
Committed any more indictable offenses lately, Greg? Hey,
to which Greg responded by grabbing my hand and camera. I demanded that Greg be arrested for assault. But as we all know, the laws don't apply to Greg, and Greg was free to flee the scene after assaulting me. As more and more police showed up, I was threatened with arrest and a criminal charge of criminal harassment, a serious indictable offense. Pretty funny considering I just got blocked and obstructed by the police for fulfilling my legal duty to serve Greg a summons, and was then assaulted by Greg right under the noses of 2 uniformed police officers. So now, Bruce Dean decided to file a registered complaint with the OPCC as per the third-party option, as per the British Columbia Police Act. Mr. Dean has actually had success with this third-party complaint process in the past, and was even on the news twice about a lengthy complaint he won against former Victoria Police Department Chief, the disgraced and discreditable Jamie Graham.
He filed the first complaint against the chief. Dean alleged breach of public trust. That was found unsubstantiated and dismissed. He felt the chief's comments were highly inappropriate.
I'm sure he's laughing at my perspective right now because I don't think he really has respect for the people and the citizens of the city.
You knew that the protesters weren't that organized when on the ferry on the way over they all rented a bus. They all came over on a bus and there was a cop driving the bus.
The Chief Graham breached the public trust by identifying an undercover officer. Bruce Dean has released the mayor's written decision and the investigation report.
Oh, I was portrayed very negatively. It's understood. You know, some investigations have proven that that's one of the major things they do when you file a police complaint is they go and discredit the complainant and don't even investigate. Quite often don't even press charges when the charges against officers should be pressed, but they go ahead and discredit the complainant.
So who better to make a third-party complaint, right? He's watched the 3 camera angles of me being assaulted multiple times, not unlike observing a police chief on TV in a press conference discrediting the reputation of his police department. And although Mr. Dean's complaint was honest and accurate, it never went anywhere, as per this letter sent to Mr. Dean by the OPCC investigative analyst, Caitlin Johnson. To Mr. Bruce Dean. On September 25th, 2017, the OPCC received a copy of Mr. Bruce Dean's registered complaint describing his concerns with members of the Victoria Police Department on December 9th, 2017. Mr. Dean reported that on the date of the incident, he and Dan attended the Victoria Police Department headquarters to serve a legal document on Constable Greg Haronowich. Dan dropped Mr. Dean off at the front entrance on Caledonia Avenue. Mr. Dean waited for Dan and then began to search for him. Mr. Dean observed what appeared to be all of the Victoria Police Department officers out on the street in the immediate area. Mr. Dean saw police officers on foot and in vehicles on Caledonia Avenue, Quadra Street, and Green Street. Mr. Dean reported that one officer pursued Dan while calling out Dan's last name, obstructed Dan, demanded that he leave the area, and then instructed Dan to walk away after he was allegedly assaulted by Constable Haronowich. According to Mr. Dean, a second officer also obstructed Dan, refused to intervene when Constable Haronowich allegedly assaulted Dan, and ignored his questions. Mr. Dean asserted that a third officer snuck up behind Dan and kicked his heels while he was walking. The officer reportedly repeatedly and aggressively threatened Dan and advised him to attend the police station to file a complaint. The officer also pursued Dan and threatened to charge him with criminal harassment. Finally, Mr. Dean complained that Constable Haronowich changed direction and walked towards Dan after Dan served him with court documents. Dan asked Constable Horonowicz, "You haven't committed any more indictable offenses lately, have you, Greg?" Constable Horonowicz reportedly turned, grabbed Dan's left hand and camera, and forced both Dan's hands down and to the side and almost into the face of another officer. Limited to those specific types of misconduct outlined in the Act, Mr. Dean's complaint does not describe conduct that falls within the definition of misconduct and therefore falls outside of the jurisdiction of the Act. Accordingly, pursuant to Section 81, subsection 1D of the Police Act, the following careful and serious consideration of Mr. Dean's complaint, we direct that no further action under Division 3 of the Police Act is required or necessary. Caitlin Johnson. So there you have it, folks. A police officer evading legal service who is protected by a wall of 2 armed officers can assault the server and walk away. And according to the OPCC, our one and only impartial, transparent civilian oversight, that's not misconduct.
We can't trust a department that turns its back on corruption.
Up next.
They told her to take care of me. They drug me back to Tennessee. And it's 2 long years of waiting around to die. Oh, but now I'm out of prison. I got me a friend at last. He don't drink or steal or cheat or lie. Well, his name's Codeine. He's the nicest thing I've seen. And together we're gonna wait around.
Sir, are you putting your hands on me? Are you?
But thanks for the help.
No, I'm telling you, I don't want you doing this. You can go that way.
Sir, are you putting your hands on me?
What's happening today?
Well, I need to rest, get my heart rate back down. I'm really sick, man. I'm really ill, man.
Everything is calm.
I'll need an ambulance right now, thank you. I'll need an ambulance. Video you're going to review with them, you're taking their word for it now, but you're not taking my word in the assault.
This property,
yeah.
so
But you didn't ask for a video from them to join in this action of trespassing me from the property.
I can grab video.
No, but you didn't ask them for a video. You just took their word for it.
You're here.
We're going in circles here. You didn't review their video. See, your logic has to apply to me too. So if you're not going to need the video off of them to trespass me, you don't need my video. It's going to be additional evidence to charge him with assaulting me. And
let's go in the back of the ambulance. I'll check you out.
But I'm not allowed in the property. That's why I came out there. You're fucking yelling at me to get out the property, and I said,
"You're with me. Let's go to the ambulance."
Can I go back on the property, pigs? Yes. But tightness in my chest, like my heart's going a mile a minute. It feels like I don't know.
You told me that you've got cancer.
Well, yeah, my 3rd one, and it's terminal.
What kind of cancer is it?
It's lymph nodes.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's a spready fucker.
Fuck you, Bruce Dean. Fuck you, Bruce Dean. Fuck you, Bruce Dean. Fuck you, Bruce Dean.
It's not very nice.
Well, sometimes I don't know where this dirty road is taking me. Sometimes I can't even see the reason why. I guess I'll keep a gambling. Lots of booze and lots of rambling. It's easier than just a waiting around.